I review a lot of laptops. I mean, literally, it is the most reviewed item on my channel. And just have a look for yourself if you don't believe me. But the point I'm trying to get at is that there are bad laptops and then there's good laptops. But then there's laptops that really stand out in a good way for one reason or another. And I like to make this list every year where I highlight a handful of laptops that really do shine above the rest. And I'm going to show those ones in this video. Now, of course, everything I talk about is going to have product links below, as well as the full reviews, because I only ever talk about stuff that I have personally reviewed and tested on this channel extensively, which also means that I'm not going to be covering any laptop that I haven't covered, so this list cannot be comprehensive by nature, but it certainly does produce a lot of the good stuff you might be interested in. So without further ado, let's get into the best laptop list of 2025. Very first on our list is a laptop that is oriented towards its sheer value. So basically it's affordable while still providing amazing performance, and that's none other than the Acer Aspire 14 AI. It is probably one of the handful of laptops that hovers around a $700 price tag, while actually giving you Intel's Lunar Lake processor series, so the Core Ultra series, with up to 32 gigabytes of memory, which actually provides you with some pretty decent performance. And despite the cheaper price tag, it has a decent build. It's got a metallic top exterior, while the rest of the body has a durable plastic finish. I also appreciate the fact that you actually get a half decent display with a good amount of brightness, which is the first area budget laptops tend to compromise. And of course, you can get up to 11 hours of runtime with a real-world test we performed right here on our channel. I gotta tell you guys, as far as value proposition goes, this is probably the most value-oriented laptop I've reviewed in 2025, bar to none. If you are looking to get the most out of your money without having to spend a ton of it, this really is the ultimate laptop. The only downside here is that it's only available in a handful of regions with some very limited configurations, so your options might be limited as to procuring it, but if you do have the option, it's certainly a golden deal. The HP OmniBook 5 is admittedly the laptop that I found the best at the mid-range productivity segment. Now, it's by a narrow margin because there's lots of good competition at this price point. However, there's a few things that stand out. Firstly, it is the successor to the HP Pavilion series, so you get that same level of build quality with a top metallic exterior, while the rest of it has a durable plastic finish. It also has a pretty darn good keyboard and trackpad, something that's often missing in this class category. I/O port selection isn't bad either. You get HDMI 2.1. You do also get Type-C ports with DisplayPort and power delivery, though unfortunately you do not get Thunderbolt 4 standards. However, another thing worth noting is that you get AMD Ryzen AI processors as a standard over here, which is really nice because you get all the power you need for anything like surfing 4K content, to doing some basic 3D modeling, to programming, and even some video or photo editing. Heck, it can even do a little bit of casual gaming. It is a pretty powerful device, and the best part is that it gives you a ton of configuration on HP's official website. You can modify everything from the system memory to the amount of storage you have to the processor class itself. The only downside here is the display is a little bit on the lackluster side. The brightness isn't particularly great, nor is the color rating, but it is sufficient for most general productivity, making it one of the better laptops in this segment. Moving on to the best 2-in-1 general productivity machine, this undoubtedly goes to the Samsung Galaxy Book 5 360. Look, it is slightly more expensive than other laptops in this class category, but it is one of the handful of laptops that offers you a full metallic exterior from end to end. In fact, it shares the same chassis as the higher tiered Galaxy Book 5 Pro series. On top of that, it has one of the most reliable hinge mechanisms, which is imperative for a good 360 or 2-in-1 laptop. Of course, the signature feature here is that full HD AMOLED display Samsung has using their own in-house technology. You get a 100% sRGB color rating and an impressive peak brightness of up to 500 nits, making this great for both color-sensitive activities and general productivity alike. You also get access to Intel's Lunar Lake processors, so the Core Ultra 5 and Ultra 7 processors respectively, which means it's also quite efficient on the battery life while providing a good degree of power for all sorts of tasks that you might throw at it. The only limiting factor here is firstly, it only has a 60Hz display, which should have been a 120Hz display. And the second thing to keep in mind is that, again, it is going to be slightly more expensive than the rest of the competition, but you're getting like 80% of the functionality of the more expensive Galaxy Book 5 Pro series, while again having a slightly cheaper price tag. So it's a pretty win-win situation. Lenovo's Yoga Pro 7 is probably one of my favorite laptops out there, especially in the premium productivity laptop segment. There's a lot to like here. For example, it's got a high quality full metallic build. Lenovo doesn't go overboard with their Yoga series. It's got a professional look, yet at the same time it looks sleek and modern. I also appreciate that you have one of the best keyboards and trackpads you'll find on almost any laptop out there. If you're serious about that stuff, this is one you'll wholeheartedly appreciate. You also get a sharp OLED panel over here with a 2.5K resolution. You do have a nice amount of screen brightness, a 120Hz refresh rate, and the best part is that you get a 100% DCI-P3 color rating, which means it's fantastic for color sensitive activities like photo or video editing, for example. It also comes spec'd with a Ryzen AI 9 processor, which is crazy powerful, more than enough for almost all sorts of general productivity, whether it's programming, 3D modeling, or 4K video editing. This thing is up to the task, and you can even do some pretty good casual gaming at relatively high frame rates, again making it pretty comprehensive in nature. The only downside I do want to mention is, firstly, you don't have any self-upgradability options, so you get what you get when you buy this laptop. Keep that in mind. And it does have a relatively loud fan compared to other laptops in this class segment. Some people do find that annoying, so I did want to mention it. However, you'll be happy to know this laptop frequently goes on sale. In fact, when I bought it, it was about $1,200 for the Ryzen AI 9 configuration, which is about like $700 cheaper than it should be. And sometimes it can go even lower than that around holiday season, so make sure you keep an eye out for it. The best high-end productive laptop in my books continues to be the MacBook Pro. Look, I know a lot of you are going to be angry at me just saying that, and shoot me if you must, but the fact is Apple continues to offer an extremely well-built device here. You have a high-quality metallic exterior from top to bottom. It's durable, sleek, and elegant all at the same time. You get some good I/O port selection, including Thunderbolt 5, HDMI 2.1, as well as a full-size SD card reader, again both at the 14 and 16-inch form factor, something that's often missing with a lot of the competition. I also appreciate the Liquid Retina XDR display, which is a fancy way of saying it's got a mini LED display with up to a 120Hz refresh rate, an impressive peak brightness, and of course a 100% DCI-P3 and sRGB color rating, making it great for color-sensitive activities like photo or video editing, while also just generally looking great no matter what you're doing on it. It does offer a lot of configuration, so you have the ability to get it in the base M4 chip, the M4 Pro, or the super powerful M4 Max chip. And for most people, the M4 chip is sufficient for most general productivity use cases. It isn't until you're doing like super demanding stuff, like let's say 4K or 6K video editing with color grading, that you will probably benefit from having the more powerful chipsets, which means you can save a ton of money. I also like the fact that you have amazing runtime, especially with the M4 and M4 Pro chips, with up to 15 hours runtime in a real-world use case test. All these things are pretty impressive. One of the handful of downsides here is, firstly, there's no self-upgradability, so you are stuck with what you get, unfortunately, and also the fact that you are going to be getting macOS. I don't have a problem, but if you are a Windows person, or if you need Windows, then your options are somewhat limited. But beyond that, this is generally one of the best high-end laptops you can get in the productivity segment. The best entry-level gaming laptop right now is the Alienware 16 Aurora by Dell. This is one that took me by surprise, to be honest, because Dell isn't exactly making the best laptops in recent times, but guys, this is a good one. So you get a simple but highly durable complete plastic body, and this laptop actually has one of the best hinge mechanisms I've seen on a gaming laptop in recent times. Gaming laptops are notorious for having poorly designed hinges. That's not the case here, which gives me assurance that it'll last for the years to come. Also, I really like the fact that you get a standard 2K plus display out of the box here, which also means you get a 16:10 aspect ratio and a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. Furthermore, you actually get a 100% sRGB color rating, again something that's often missing at the entry-level price point, which means it's good for color-sensitive activities as well. Now, you get a ton of RTX configurations. You can actually spec it as little as with a RTX 4050 or go as high as a RTX 5070 in some areas and regions. However, you'll find that the 5050 and the 5060 are kind of the sweet spot. Most AAA titles are able to run at high high settings with some great frame rates, allowing you to utilize that faster 120Hz refresh rate. And no matter which one you get, you actually get Core 7 240H Intel processor standard across the board, so you get plenty of CPU horsepower to begin with. The only thing worth noting is that I have noticed a few driver related issues with this laptop when I was testing it, but those were mostly software related, so hopefully they've been ironed out by the time you're considering this laptop. And also, this laptop frequently goes on sale on Dell's official website, so make sure you check it out. If you're patient, you can score it off as much as 40% off its MSRP pricing, making it feel more than an entry-level laptop while still retaining that price point. It really is one of the best ones out there right now. And at the very top of the enthusiast gaming laptop world, we have the likes of the Raider 18HX AI by MSI. Look, there's a lot of good laptops in this price point, if you've got the money for it, of course, but this one is an absolute beast. It's got a 18-inch form factor. It comes standard with Intel's Core 9 Ultra 285HX processor. It's equipped with NVIDIA's RTX 5090 GPU at the top configuration. It is a beast that also comes with a 4K Plus mini LED display, of course, with a 100% DCI-P3 color rating and a 120Hz refresh rate. I love the fact that this is one of the handful of laptops out there that can actually game at that resolution. It's able to run some modern day AAA titles in the triple-digit frame rates without breaking a sweat, thanks to DLSS technology and of course just the beastly specs we have here. Now, with that said, it's also of course worth noting that this thing has a very impressive cooling system. That's why you can equip a RTX 5090 or 5080 in the first place to minimize thermal throttling as well, of course. And one of the things I have to give you a warning about is the fact that it has an insanely high price tag. I mean, it's $5,000 for the RTX 5080 configuration, and the number only goes higher if you want to get the fully decked out 5090 variant. And if you aren't into 4K gaming, you can probably save like $1,500 to $2,000 and get yourself a 2K or full HD gaming laptop instead. Again, this is only for those who want true 4K gaming on a laptop at an enthusiast class level, and you don't mind giving up portability for that colossal 18-inch form factor. But overall, really a state-of-the-art laptop in the world of gaming machines. While that's it for our core list of laptops that I wanted to mention, there are some honorable mentions as well, the first one being the IdeaPad Slim 5 by Lenovo. It's one of the handful of laptops that actually gives you the ability to get both Intel and AMD variants of their latest AI processors. You also do have the ability to completely self-upgrade this machine, which means both the DDR5 SODIMM slots can be self-upgraded, and you get two M.2 slots to upgrade your storage as well, something that's very rare nowadays. And of course, it does offer the same high quality trackpad and keyboard that you find in the more expensive Lenovo Yoga Pro 7. The Dell 14 Plus is part of Dell's new rebranded laptops, and it replaces the Inspiron 14 Plus laptop instead. It has a new and improved design. The thermals are a lot better this year. It also has good I/O port selection, including HDMI 2.1 and Thunderbolt 4 ports. And it does offer a standard 2.5K display with a 100% sRGB color rating with lots of configurations on Dell's official website, making it a very versatile device. Another great entry-level gaming laptop is the Asus V16. It has one of the best thermal managements I've seen in that class category. It also offers a ton of RTX configurations, including 4050, 5050, and 5060 RTX configurations, and it frequently goes on sale. In fact, I've seen it go off by as much as 40% its MSRP asking price, making it a great value proposition. And that's pretty much it for the best laptops of 2025. If there's a machine that you think earns a spot in this list somewhere, let me know in the comments section below. I'd definitely love to check it out. And I have reviews for everything I talked about, as well as product links again in the video description below, so make sure you check that out. And lastly, if you enjoyed the content, guys, do me a solid and please consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video. Not only does it help me grow this channel, it keeps me motivated to produce more content just like this so I can help you awesome people. Till then though, catch you in the next one.